Welcome to Manny's TV Talk, where we will talk about all of our favorite reality TV shows and news surrounding them. Grab a snack, a drink, and get comfortable because this starts now. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about Vanderpump Rules Season 11, The Reunion Part 2. Let's get right into this.
Asking you a question, Ariana. You've been doing this a long time. You know how this goes. I was asked a question.
Yeah, you talk louder than everybody, and so you're right.
I have not raised my voice, not a once.
All right, so we pick up with Lala exposing Katie because Katie was doing some complaining about Ariana, who's not being super involved with the sandwich shop. Lala says that she wanted Katie to be herself and to be honest on camera, just like she was being off camera. Lala says that she doesn't think that Katie was authentic this season, and Schwartz even says that perhaps Katie was nervous that had she come out and said these things, maybe people would have thought she wasn't Team Ariana, and perhaps Katie was a little scared of that. Lala says that it bothered her more than anything that Katie made Lala look like a crazy person on camera, even though they both knew the conversations that were being had outside of the camera. She says that Katie also threatened to come for her business, and she says something about her is really nothing about her. Katie is pissed, and she says that she's not going to allow people to tell her what if she was being real or if she was being fake. Okay, so switching gears, Andy brings up all the secrets and cheating that has happened on the show. They showed flashbacks they showed Ariana cheating with Tom. I thought that was interesting. They showed Schwartz and Katie, Jax, Brittany, just everything that's happened on Vanderpump Rules, right? And the point is, how was it never revealed that Schwartz and Scheana made out? So Scheana says that they were at her little sister's competition in some casino, and yeah, they kissed. This happened back when Katie really didn't like Scheana. But she clarifies that the kiss, it was him kissing her, and she just kind of backed away and said, whoa, let's just go back to our rooms. But they said that it really wasn't that big of a deal. Schwartz apologizes for being just a sloppy person, and Scheana says that she didn't want to hurt Katie, that's why she never brought it up and never told her. Andy says to Scheana, well, you actually said when y'all were at the beach that every single guy in this cast has tried to hit on you. And she says, yeah, James tried to hook up with her when he was DJing somewhere. He said he wanted to go to the room. And then Sandoval also did when he broke up with Kristen. So this was a long time ago. And then Andy asks, how was the sex? And Sandoval says, I woke up with a locked jaw and S out of a condom 2 weeks later. I don't know what that means, but Andy laughed about it. They talk about Katie, who hooked up with Max, who is Schwartz's best friend. They kind of laughed about it. Tom says that he kind of liked that she did that because it leveled the playing field. Lala says, oh, honey, that did not level the playing field. She destroyed it. Andy asks Katie if she hooked up with Max a second time, and Katie says that she doesn't remember, and she's just laughing about it. All right, so moving on, they talk about the Lake Tahoe trip. Lisa mentions, her new restaurant that she has there now called Wolf. I think it's open now. And Schwartz says that it really did bother him when he was giving the invitation, when Ariana was kind of speaking for the whole group and just being rude to him by saying that he was a lost cause. And that's why he said that she wasn't the queen of the group. Ariana then says that it was the first time she's ever heard someone say that she has a big ego. Andy asks Ariana, what did she think of Scheana, making up with Sandoval in Lake Tahoe? Now, Ariana didn't watch the season, so she really didn't have much to say, but Scheana says that she really wanted Ariana to know that her fixing things with Sandoval was not her abandoning Ariana in any way. Andy says, well, Lala, you said to this group when you broke up with your ex that you didn't want these people to be friends with him. You didn't want your friends to be friends with him as well. So, didn't you just say the same thing Ariana did? And Lala says, okay, major difference. First of all, I have a child with my ex and I'm in a very intense custody battle. Katie says, well, okay, but Ariana can still have her boundaries. And Lala responds by saying, yeah, she can have her boundaries, but her boundary is happening while she's sleeping across the hall from him and she has a new boyfriend. Lala says, if I would have done that, if I would have told y'all don't hang out with Randall, but I was staying in the same house as him, y'all would have given me the side eye. Ariana says, well, was it a difference for Katie dating after her divorce? Lala says, well, Katie wasn't traumatized by her divorce though. So Lala and Ariana go back and forth over respecting their boundaries. Ariana says, you were not being respectful. Lala says, Ariana, I have seen you sit and hear people like Charlie call me a hoe and you just sat there and said nothing. Ariana says, what are you talking? We talked about this at the plant store. Lala says, well, that scene didn't air, so let's talk about it now. They actually showed the scene, so it was basically Ariana and Lala talking about it and literally moving on. So Ariana says, why are we even talking about this? Lala says, because you're making it sound like I'm not supporting you. It just doesn't make sense to me. And Ariana says, I don't care if it doesn't make sense to you. I've always known that your situation is different and I've supported you. Lala says, well, I was asked the question by him. Ariana, you know how this works. And Ariana says, yeah, talk louder than everyone so that you're right. I would say it did feel like Lala was doing a little too much. Andy then asks Ariana about the picture that the cast took when they were in Tahoe, where people saw Scheana wrapping her hand around Sandoval. Which, by the way, side note, who are these people that take time out of their way to be mad that Scheana, who they don't know, is friends with Sandoval again, who they don't know? Like, what are we, in 5th grade? Man, some people getting mad over a picture of people they don't know, that's very weird. There's some very weird people out there. But Ariana says that, actually, when Lala brought it up to me, it gave me a whole new perspective about, the headlines and stuff, so I did appreciate that. Andy brings up Dancing with the Stars. Remember, Scheana made such a big deal about Ariana not telling her. Ariana says that it was not intentional. Her team told her to keep it locked in, so it wasn't personal. It's not like she, didn't want Scheana specifically to know. Andy says, well, have you gotten the call from them, Scheana? That's hilarious. Who cares? But Ariana did do an amazing job while she was on Dancing with the Stars, because I don't watch that show, but I remember seeing clips of her dances, and she did phenomenal. So if Scheana eventually does get the call, I feel like it would be like, I don't know, it's kind of desperate to kind of beg for it, but if she does, she had big shoes to fill for sure. So then they take a break and bring out Allie and Joe. Allie says that her astrology readings are fully booked, $195 an hour. I keep forgetting that people believe in that, but good for her. Get your money. So Andy wants to know how Joe and Schwartz got together. So Joe says that she was couch surfing and she stayed in his spare bedroom for 4 days and then she got her own apartment. It took about 3 weeks from when they met and to when they started hooking up. Joe has been knowing them for a little bit because she's actually good friends with Kristen Doty. And Katie says, well, why didn't you stay with Kristen? And Schwartz says, nah, Kristen was going through a lot at this time. Now, Ariana had said that she didn't like Joe because she claims that Joe knew of Sandoval and Raquel's affair. She has no proof, but that's just what she thinks. But they didn't really spend too much time on that. Andy asks Schwartz, what was going on with you and Joe, for real? He says that he really liked Joe and he liked that she was private and that she didn't want to be a part of the show. And yeah, they hooked up quite a bit. But of course, it looked like Schwartz was leading her on this season. And even Katie said that when she saw the show, even she felt bad seeing that Schwartz was kind of leaving breadcrumbs. And Joe says, wait, what? You felt bad for me? Schwartz says that, they had a conversation as to why they wouldn't be together. Because look, Joe was already kooky herself and Schwartz's explanations were crazy, so everyone was confused. They're like, what the hell's going on? What are y'all even saying? Because it looked like Schwartz was being an F-boy, and Scandoval says, well, the show definitely made it seem like that, but Lala's like, no, wait a minute, it wasn't just the show. Tom Schwartz was hooking up with her, telling her that he loved her, but would refuse to be with her. So obviously, how is she supposed to feel? It was as if she was getting played and Schwartz was gaslighting her. Then Joe starts to cry and says, she says to Schwartz, well, now you have a new girlfriend who you love talking about. Schwartz tries to say that he just didn't want to put labels on it, but then he talks about his new girlfriend whose name is Sophia. She looks like she's young. I'm really glad, though, that everyone did call him out for not being intentional with Joe. Whether or not he wanted to be with her, just the way he went about it was very screwed up. So then they asked Katie about Joe because Katie talked a lot of crap about her. Now, poor Joe couldn't handle it. She was in tears. She said that she felt ganged up by Katie this season. Katie says, look, I was going through a lot last summer, and I, too, didn't feel supported enough by this group. I know I wasn't kind, but I was dealing with a lot. Joe says, well, that's no excuse. And then she starts to go down the list of everything that Katie called her. Katie did apologize, at least in a very Katie way, but she did. Joe is single, although she did joke and asked if she could get John Mayer's number from Andy. And I heard Scheana say, been there, done that. She kind of whispered it, but I was like, imagine saying that as you're sitting next to your husband. That's crazy. Next, they focus on James and Allie. They both say that the dog is now better behaved with the cats, and Andy says, well, Raquel did say that the dog's bad behavior had a lot to do with James. James says that the dog has changed. Of course, Lisa Vanderpump defends him because she did get him the dog. Andy says, Allie, you said in the show that you were ready to have, for marriage and to have children. Do you still feel like that? She says, yup. And she kind of even shades the group and says they're not really truly inspirational for her to even get married. She's 28 and he's 32. So they're not that old. But James says that he would wait for Allie like forever. Moving along, Andy highlights that Lala has been sober for 5.5 years and James has been sober for 1 year. Allie says that there was one situation when she didn't like how James was acting. He was acting very out of pocket. I mean, I can't even imagine because when he got drunk, he would turn into like a demon. So she left him for 2 days. Like she took the cats and everything. And he has vowed not to drink ever since. And she says that if he would do it again, she would leave. Straight up, because she doesn't like how he acts when he's drunk. Before letting Joe go, she says that she actually did enjoy spending time with the group. But then she says, I'll probably go home and cry after this. Oh, dang. Okay. Then Andy talks about Anne, the assistant. I don't know what's so special that he called her the star of the show. Now, as we all know, she left Sandoval to go work for Ariana. Sandoval says that it did bother him that she did that because it kind of felt like a betrayal. Then they talk about this ridiculous dog story. The dog was left in Ariana's disgusting room with her old food and the dog ate it. She claimed that he almost killed the dog. So Scandoval says that they've had trouble with the air conditioning, so some technician has to come. And obviously, because the rooms are all connected to the same house, they had to go into the room. He doesn't remember who left the door open. Was it him? Was it Anne? He doesn't remember. He just knows that they had to go into the room. Now, Ariana says, well, I should have been contacted that someone was going to get into the room because that's my space. I think that's a little ridiculous because, like I said, it's the same house. And especially when you have a technician on, do you really think that Sandoval is going to have time to contact? Like, first of all, she doesn't even want him to talk to her. So he would have had to find a mediator to then tell her, no, we need to get into the room now. F that. So then they talk about this dog custody. Ariana says that she owns the dogs. And as she's saying this, Sandoval just rolls his eyes. And James gets into it with him and says, why are you rolling your eyes? You had no problem with Raquel keeping my dog. So then they start to fight about that. Sandoval says, I know so much that I'm not going to even say it. And then James starts cussing at him. Sandoval cusses back. But that's where the second part ended. And it looks like next week things are going to get heated as well. Ariana and Tom will talk face to face. I can't wait for that. But as far as this second part, nothing too exciting. It was what it was. But what did y'all think about this second part? What did y'all think about Allie, Joe, Lala, just Kate? Anything you want to tell me, please let me know. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. You have a great one. Bye.